The year is 1219. Imagine the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Eurasian steppe. A bitter wind whips across the grasslands, carrying the scent of dust and distant storms. The air crackles not just with cold, but with anticipation. A lone rider, a messenger, gallops relentlessly, his horse's breath pluming in the frigid air. He carries news that will unleash the most destructive invasion the world has yet seen: the Mongol conquest of the Khwarezmian Empire. But this story isn't just about the fury of the Khan. It's about the silent power that secured his empire, a power hidden in plain sight: his daughters. We often picture Genghis Khan as the ultimate conqueror, a lone wolf leading his horde. We see him on horseback, sword in hand, a force of nature reshaping the world through sheer will. And while that's part of the story, it's not the whole truth. While the Khan was away, sometimes for years at a time, who held the heart of the Mongol Empire together? Who ensured the vital arteries of trade, communication, and power continued to pulse? The answer lies not with his sons, but with his daughters. They were the unsung empresses of the Silk Road. Most people believe that in the hyper-masculine world of the Mongol tribes, women were relegated to the background. They were seen as pawns in political marriages, prizes of war, or keepers of the home. And on the surface, that's what happened. Genghis Khan married his daughters, women like Beki, Töregene, and the formidable Khatun, to the rulers of strategic kingdoms along the Silk Road. These weren't love matches. They were cold, calculated political maneuvers. The world saw these princesses as mere bargaining chips, sent to foreign lands to be forgotten. But that's where the world was wrong. This strategy, known as daughter state diplomacy, was pure genius. The rules were simple, yet brutal. To marry a Mongol princess, a king had to dismiss all his other wives, a public declaration that his only true allegiance was to the Khan. Then, almost immediately, the new son-in-law would be sent to the front lines of the Mongol wars, often to the most dangerous campaigns. With the king gone, who do you think took the throne? The Mongol princess. Suddenly, these women weren't just foreign wives. They were the de facto rulers of their kingdoms. Let's look at Beki, married to the ruler of the Ongud, a powerful Turkic people guarding a critical pass into China. Her husband and sons were all sent off to war. For decades, Beki ruled alone. She wasn't just a placeholder, she was a shrewd administrator. She governed her people, collected taxes, and commanded the loyalty of the Ongud warriors, ensuring this vital gateway to the south remained firmly in Mongol hands. The Persian historian Rashid al-Din, writing just a generation later, noted that these princesses administered the affairs of these kingdoms with an iron will. They weren't just keeping the peace, they were actively governing. Think about the Silk Road. It wasn't just a road, it was the internet of the 13th century. It was the circulatory system of the known world, carrying not just silk and spices, but ideas, armies, and information. To control the Silk Road was to control the world. And Genghis Khan placed his most trusted assets, his own daughters, as the gatekeepers of this global network. Imagine a single gold coin, a Mongol paiza, bearing the Khan's seal. This coin represents the authority of the empire. When a merchant travels the Silk Road, he isn't just carrying goods, he's carrying the promise of safe passage, guaranteed by Mongol power. Now, imagine that coin passing through a checkpoint, a city ruled not by a fierce Mongol general, but by one of the Khan's daughters. She is the one who honors the seal, who organizes the caravans, who ensures the garrisons are supplied, and the roads are safe from bandits. The coin's value, its power, is upheld by her. Without her administration, that piece of gold is just metal. She was the one who turned the Khan's authority into tangible reality across thousands of miles. This network of daughter states transformed the very idea of empire. The Mongol Empire wasn't just a territory conquered by force. It was a vast, interconnected system managed by a family. While Genghis and his generals were expanding the frontiers, his daughters were consolidating the core. They were building the infrastructure of power, turning conquered lands into functioning, loyal parts of the empire. This created a stability, the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol peace, that allowed trade and culture to flourish on an unprecedented scale. Ideas from China reached Persia. Italian merchants like Marco Polo could travel to the court of the Great Khan, and it was all underwritten by the administrative skill of these women, while their brothers, like Jochi, Chagatai, and Ogedei, were groomed for conquest and inherited pieces of the empire to rule. They often fought amongst themselves, their rivalries threatening to tear the empire apart. The daughters, however, were the glue. They weren't given lands to squabble over. They were given a responsibility to hold the center firm while the edges expanded. They built a foundation of stability that allowed their brothers' conquests to even be possible. This quiet, foundational power is often overlooked in our histories, which tend to focus on the noise of battle rather than the quiet hum of a well-run state. Ultimately, this story tells us something fundamental about power. It's not always held by the person with the sword. Sometimes, the greatest power lies in the hands that manage, organize, and sustain. The Khan's daughters were the master politicians and administrators of their time. They wielded their authority not on the battlefield, but in the courts, the tax offices, and the trade depots of the Silk Road. They proved that empire building is not just about conquest, but about governance. It's about turning chaos into order. So the next time you hear the name Genghis Khan, remember that his empire wasn't built by one man alone. Look beyond the image of the warrior on horseback and see the network of brilliant, powerful women who were the true architects of his enduring legacy. They were the queens of the Silk Road, and their story is a testament to the fact that history is often shaped by those whose names we were never taught to remember. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please hit that like button and subscribe to Dynasty for more hidden histories. Let us know in the comments what piece of forgotten history you'd like us to uncover next. Until then, keep digging.